Gentlemen and ladies, Mike here from Canadian Cards. I'm shooting a video. It is 3:30 p.m., January 13th, 2021. It is opening night in the NHL. We have regular season hockey. Now, some of you are going to say, we had regular season hockey last year. No, we had a bubble last year where everyone competed in a tournament. There was the West Coast, there was the East Coast. It was, they're playing each other, and then it became more like March Madness style. Now we're actually getting back to regular season games. Divisions are all ramped up and revamped up, I should say. A Canadian division, that is definitely going to spark tons of interest from, even more so with Canadians. I am a supporter of the Les Habitants, Montreal Canadiens, even though tonight, just for fun's sake, I'm wearing my 1975 throwback California Golden Seals, Gilles Meloche. Had to throw that on there. Just, I like this jersey. Uglier than hell, but I just like it. Uglier the better. I've got another one on order that should be coming on soon. Anyways, back to hockey. I was going to go through some young players to watch after reviewing the opening day rosters. There's not a ton. I could go through some modern day stuff, but what I did was I just rummaged through a shoebox I have of some slabs. I've got some Toronto cards. I've got some Montreal cards, and I thought I'd just show them off and talk a little bit about the rivalry. So could be long-winded. If you need to shut it off, go shut it off. If you need to go get something to eat and have it playing in the background, be here for a bit too. Maybe you have to go drop a deuce. Go do that too. Anyways, I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm pretty excited. There is a game at 5:30. I think it's Philly-Pittsburgh that kicks off the season. But tonight, I'm going to talk about the oldest rivalry in the NHL, which is the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. They kick things off on TSN, which is our version of it's our Canadian version of ESPN. 7 o'clock is puck drop. And I'm just going to show off I didn't grab anything in particular. I just grabbed stuff. Did something with a little backdrop with the cards just to, have some fun. And, so why don't I stop talking? I've got some stats fired up here. It's actually a Wikipedia page that talks about the Canadiens Maple Leaf rivalry. So a lot of the stuff, obviously, I don't have that in my head. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, but there's some interesting information, and I will do the reading while I show off some cards too. So stick around. Okay, guys, so a little bit of a different backdrop. I've got some Leaf cards to show off just at random. I've got some Habs cards to show off at random. I'll do the Habs ones last because they're my favorites. But nothing major, just some, like I said, I just pulled out some cool cards that I wanted to show off. And some of these really have zero value. I think a lot of these I bought in a lot from a gentleman at one point last year. I went and looked at one card that this guy had at a show, and actually he told me to if I was interested. He had a bunch of slabs that he was looking to move, and I picked through and grabbed all the Montreal and Toronto ones, just because culturally in Canada, people get upset about this, but there's no excusing the fact the Montreal and Toronto are what defines hockey in Canada. Yes, the Edmonton Oilers had a great run. Vancouver's never really done anything. They made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Calgary's won the Cup. Winnipeg, nothing. But Montreal and Toronto, when you go back, the historical significance is amazing. Just a few stats while you check out that. There's my boy Ken Dryden right here. He's my favorite player of all time, goalie. And this is actually the 1970-71 Stanley Cup team. This is the first year that I started watching hockey. And Dryden was a rookie and got called into action for that season, and I think he only played like 6 regular season games, and then he got the nod in the he got the nod in the playoffs, and they won the cup when they beat Chicago. Anywho, just some facts. So tonight's game will be the 819th meeting between the two teams. Montreal leads the all-time series 401 wins to 318 with 88 ties. The regular season, Montreal is up 359 to 289 in the 88 ties. Montreal leads in postseason results 42 to 29. They also have the largest victory. This is all, you can find this on this Wikipedia page. Largest victory, Montreal beat Toronto 11-0 in 1944. So just some fun facts. Before I start showing off the cards, I do want to read this little excerpt because it's very interesting. It talks about the cultural impact between the two that kind of divided people in Canada back in the day. So I'm just going to read this excerpt, and it's pretty interesting. From the early to mid 20th century, professional ice hockey was viewed as one of the few battlefields where French Canadians could excel against English-speaking Canadians. Because of this, the Montreal Canadiens had developed rivalries with several hockey clubs in which the teams were linked to larger class, linguistic, and religious divisions in the country. Prior to the original Six era, the Canadiens had developed rivalries with the Montreal Wanderers, who played from 1903 to 1918, and the Montreal Maroons, who were in existence from 1924 to 38, with Francophone hockey fans in Montreal supporting the Canadiens. Anglophone hockey fans in Montreal supporting the latter two teams prior to them both folding. During the original Six era, the rivalry between the Canadiens and the Leafs found itself linked to these societal issues, with the two teams representing a myriad of Canadian societal dualities. Montreal being the French-speaking group of Canadians linked to the Roman Catholic Church, and the Toronto Maple Leafs linking the English-speaking with the Protestants or the United Empire Loyalists. So, and there's also a book that was written by Roch Carrier. It's called The Hockey Sweater, and it's about a young boy who was a huge fan of the Montreal Canadiens, but his mom brought him home a gift, and it was a Toronto Maple Leaf sweater, and he had to wear it in front of his friends, and he was just beside himself. And it's really cool, really cool. They did an adaptation of the book in 1980, done by the National Film Board. And it's animated, so it's pretty cool. But anyways, let's get to some of these Toronto Maple Leafs. Just some cards that I pulled out. These are Hall of Fame cards, almost like the Cooperstown postcards that the Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame did from 85 to 87. So there is a Joe Primo in a 9. Ace Bailey in a 9. A fun fact about Ace Bailey, he injured himself many moons ago, and they started the All-Star game in honor of him. How about this? 1984 O-Pee-Chee, Walt Podubny in a PSA 9. Walt Podubny. There's a name I remember. You have to understand, being Canadian, Saturday night meant you're watching Hockey Night in Canada, and generally for us in Ontario, we were getting Leaf games. So as much as I root against Toronto and I'm a huge fan of Montreal, I know a lot of the Leaf history because that's what you were brought up with. Here's the 1974 tops of Doug Favell. I think after this, Doug Favell went and played for the Kansas City Scouts, who then became the Colorado Rockies and the New Jersey Devils. But he didn't make it past, I think, the Kansas City Scouts. Also was a goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers for some time. 1970 O-Pee-Chee, Jim Harrison in a PSA 7. This is one of the first hockey sets that I remember collecting as a child, and my dad helping. He'd come home from work and, he'd stop at the corner store and buy me packs of hockey cards, and these were the first ones I remember opening up. So a lot of fun, that old jersey, and just the colored background with the spotlights. God, this brings back so many memories as a kid. Like, you have no idea how much this travels me back in time, seeing these cards. It's utterly fantastic. Here's a card that I pulled out that I just thought, this signifies how bad the Leafs were in the 70s, but how good their captain Daryl Sittler was. So this is from 1975 Topps, and they did these team leader cards, and they did them in football. I know that. I'm not quite sure if they did it for baseball, but just check this out. I mean, this is the team leader card for the Leafs, and I mean, they were terrible in the 70s. Daryl Sittler led the team in goals with 36, assists with 44, points with 80, and power play goals with 12. And then on the back, it kind of gives you a breakdown of, everyone else who was, close, but oh so far from Daryl Sittler. He was definitely, there's some great names on there. Cowboy Bill Flett, the Milkman, Claire Alexander. He used to be a milkman. He got a tryout and made the Leafs. Jim McKenney, George Ferguson, Ron Ellis. Like, great names on there. Didn't I see? Oh, yeah, down here. Blaine Stoughton went on to play for the Hartford Whalers. Dave Keon. Great names. And then finally, I'll pull this beauty out. I do have another George Armstrong. This is a 1962 Parkhurst and an 8.5. Probably the most heralded captain in Leaf history. Revered by many people in Toronto. He just did it all for the Leafs. I think he's hoisted most Stanley Cups as Leaf captain. And for that, he is definitely in the hearts of Leaf fans everywhere. I was fortunate enough to, when I worked as a statistician for ESPN back in the day, I had several conversations with George during intermissions, because I would go out and take a break. So would he. He was a scout for the Leafs at the time, and very, very wonderful gentleman. Would talk to you till the cows came home. And years later, I ran into him at a hockey arena where my daughter and his granddaughter were actually playing against each other. And we kind of reminisced a little bit, and just very fortunate that I got to meet a gentleman in the game such as George Armstrong. Definitely one of the classier guys on the Leafs all time. So I'm going to put these ones away. What I'm going to do is show off some Montreal Canadian cards. So these first groupings are 1979 tops. This is infamous for the Wayne Gretzky rookie year. This is Ken Dryden's last card. This is one of the ones I picked through. It is an 8 OC. You can see it's severely cut here, or left to right. It's terrible. But I mean, it's Ken Dryden, and he's who I idolized as a young boy. So how could I not grab that? The other guy was Guy Lafleur, also in an 8 OC, 79 tops. I could pull out tons of Habs and Leafs cards, but to be quite honest with you, I was very unprepared and did this very last minute. So I apologize for that. But Guy Lafleur, I mean, first team All-Star through the 70s. He was the man. He was the man that led the 70s in scoring for the most part. And then a young fellow named Wayne Gretzky came in 79 and destroyed. There's a goals leader card with Bossy, Dion, and Lafleur. PSA 8. This is the assist leader. So you've got Dion, Lafleur, Trottier, and Bob McMillan from the Atlanta Flames. There's a shocker. That's a PSA 7. And this is the scoring leaders. So in this year in particular, this is where Lafleur was starting to fade, also in an 8 OC, 79 tops. I mean, total points, if you look at the back, Trottier had 134, Dion 130, Lafleur, then Bossy, McMillan, Guy Chouinard, Potvin. Some great names there. But this is where you can see Trottier, Bossy, Clark Gillies. This is when the Islanders started their run, where they won their cups in a row. It's one of my favorite Hab cards that I have, 1983 O-Pee-Chee, only because it's in a gem mint 10. This is our boy Eric, those back pages. It's got the old, in 1983, the old tuck blades. I remember when these first came out, these molded one-piece blades. When they first came out, they were all the rage for any kid that played hockey. You had to have the tuck blades. There's the back of the card. Just springs a lot of memories back from my childhood, I'll tell you. Especially cards like this, leader card. So here's an O-Pee-Chee and an 8, 74-75. Goal leader, Yvon Cornwallis, Frank Mahovlich with assists, and points were, and scoring percentage was Claude LaRose. And you could probably go to the back. There's your goals, assist leaders. Then it gives it from year to year. Lafleur, I think, between probably the year after this until 79, went into his torrid pace of scoring. And yeah, see, here's the first year. Here's a 76 tops and a 7. Lafleur, 53 goals. Peter Mahovlich, points, 119 for Lafleur, and 15 power play goals. And then if you look at the back here, yeah, Lafleur had 53 goals. The next guy had 35. Mahovlich led in assists, 82. Lafleur with 66. Mahovlich, quite frankly, 2 points behind him. Not bad. Not too bad. Power play goals, Mahovlich was 1 behind. This is when they started their run. This gentleman passed away within the last couple of years. This is Maurice Richard's younger brother, Henri Richard. I have his autograph on the final stat sheet of... no, it's not on the final stat sheet. It's on my press pass for the final game that I worked. Not the final. It was the final game of the old Montreal Forum before they did the Bell Center, 1996. They played the Dallas Stars. Not really the opponent that you would want for a final game. I was kind of hoping it would be Leafs Montreal, and it's probably the funnest time I had working a game because there was so much history, and there's a big ceremony after the game where they were passing the torch around to different players. That my job as a statistician that night was just to sit back and watch it and take it all in. So got Maurice Richard to, and as a member of the media, you're not really supposed to ask for autographs because you have an unfair advantage seeing these guys. But it was one of those situations where I said, F it, I'm taking my chances. And believe it or not, I have on my press pass, I have it signed by him, Serge Savard, Yvon Lambert, and Yvon Lambert was standing beside Howie Meeker, God rest his soul. He used to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, and he was just there because of the history behind it. And I had no choice but to ask him as well, because that would have been very disrespectful. And so I have 1 Leaf on my press pass and 3 Habs. So I find that to be very cool. These are the back of the cards. And then the last one again is Maurice Richard. This is 1963 Parkhurst in a PSA 8. This is a 99 card set. I think it's 99 or 100, but there's like 2 cards from, there's like a portrait and then an action. Great set. Do want to get some more of those because I just like them. They're cool cards. And then this, the back of them, a little cartoon on the back, a little drawing, talks in French and English about the Stanley Cup replica and different things, different little historical facts. So that is all I have for you guys. I apologize if I've been long-winded. When I got into this hobby, hockey is everywhere, and you can't help but not love hockey if you grow up in Canada. It's no different than being attached to baseball. Just seems like, how, what do they say? Chevrolet's apple pie in baseball is American. Well, in Canada, it would be, I don't know about a car. I guess it would be the Bricklin, which is the Back to the Future car. I think it's called a Bricklin. I think that was developed in Canada. And poutine and hockey, that's what it is, bringing the Canadian culture. So with the NHL starting tonight, I just thought I'd kind of review the rivalry. Going to try and focus my channel a lot more on hockey, guys. I picked up baseball cards here and there, got stuff put away. But hockey, I don't know, there's just something about it. When hockey's on, I get very into it. I think what it does is it brings me back to a nostalgic period in time that I absolutely love. So we are closing in on 20 minutes, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully a lot of you guys, I see guys like Scotty Aranya boys, Spidey, collecting hockey the other day. He's collecting hockey, showing off his Young Guns. And then another video, he's showing off his Bo Bichette wearing a Blue Jays hat and jersey. And I had to question him, are you turning Canadian? Because he definitely fit the part. If you would have watched his Bo Bichette, followed that up with Young Guns, you would swear Scotty was filming from Canada. But that is all I have, guys. Really appreciate your time. Big game tonight. Going to be a lot of matchups between these two. And I just think it's going to be a fun year. Like I said, I'm going to focus more on hockey. Hopefully you'll have some fun along the way with me and join me. And we'll keep it rolling. Have a great night, guys. Go Habs, go.